There's a sorority renaissance going on in America right now because there is a red state and normal people renaissance going on right now. To be fair, we don't want to see, as a society, tons of videos of thousands of young women gyrating for the camera, twerking in skimpy costumes. That doesn't help female objectification. Maybe you think that's an outdated, archaic take or whatever, but we can zoom out and analyze these synchronized dance videos from Delta Gamma, from Phi Mu, from Chi Omega, all these chapters all over the country in a critical way. And they've been going viral for about a week now. It's part of this phenomenon called Rush Talk, which basically is part of sorority recruitment every year, and it's been happening since TikTok's heyday over COVID. Watch.
See, when I was younger, I would say, when I grow up, get it. When I grow up, I wanna be famous, I wanna be a star, I wanna be in movies. When I grow up, I wanna see the world, drive nice cars, I wanna have TV, people know me, can't really see. Fresh and clean, no more cheap when I step out on the
The common theme is that you're seeing a lot of bombshell blondes, brunettes, perfectly fit, doing really creative, also promiscuous choreography, and a lot of them are in the state schools in the South. And I think what we can see now is that there's an undeniable enthusiasm in these Southern state schools. You got the tailgates, you got Greek life, you got all the hype behind the sports, party culture in general, and that comes with hookup culture, no doubt. Just some stats to show you how much energy is behind these Southern state schools right now. From 2014 to 2023, 12 of the 16 SEC schools saw an increase in enrollment from students from the Northeast. The biggest beneficiaries were LSU. That was a 486% increase. Tennessee, 378% increase, and Ole Miss, while Florida, Georgia, and Texas still saw a doubling. So again, LSU received an almost 500% increase in the number of applicants. That is almost 6 times the number of applicants. That is insane. Why is this happening? Why are they seeing this surge? Well, I'm sure the sorority videos that are all over social media are enticing the target demographic very much, young women. Sororities offer fellowship, even though it's really expensive fellowship. I did not partake in one, although sometimes I regret not going to a school that had Greek life. It's supposed to be a sisterhood for life until they started letting in dudes. Hopefully that's over with now that we're having a normie revolution. You got a full social calendar, tons of activities, coordinated outfits, all for the very low, low price of several $1,000s a semester.
Social events, mixers, formals, clam bakes, trips to the Cape.
This is from the New York Post. Last year, Kylan Darnell, a Rush Talk sensation with more than 1 million followers, revealed her family shelled out a whopping $100,000 on her tuition and Greek life alone. Parents splurged thousands of dollars on coaches, hair and makeup glam teams, and new wardrobes. Think Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Rolex, Chanel, for teens to look like they belong at the coveted mansion-style houses at the University of Alabama, Auburn, Ole Miss, in the University of South Carolina, among other schools. This girl, Destiny Moray, famously breaks down the cost of Rush outfits.
Okay, everyone, happy prep. My dress is from Saks.
Before I tell y'all how much this dress costs, y'all will never guess. So I'll tell y'all. $625.
Shoes are from Louis Vuitton.
All right, we have these Louis Vuittons, $845. You guys, these shoes are so hard to walk in. I could never.
My bracelets are Nordstrom, David Yurman.
All right, so we have this David Yurman bracelet. It's $695. And then we have another David Yurman bracelet. It's coming up. Here it is, $395. This is the standard one. Everyone has it except for me. Apparently.
Rolex.
So we have this Rolex. I'm never 100% sure on the Rolexes, but I think this is the one she has, $11,500. Second Rolex.
Nordstrom
and we have this necklace from Nordstrom. It's $235. Yeah. And then we have these earrings for $138. But you guys, I got y'all because I did find a dupe on Amazon for $12. It's in my storefront. Shameless plug. Anyway, our grand total is $14,433. Yeah.
I think it is kind of unfortunate that a criteria for a sorority would be that you're like dripping in expensive designer bags and items. I think once upon a time, sororities were also judging character and internal attributes more seriously than whatever your bling was, whatever brands you were sporting. And I think that is hyper materialistic, and we shouldn't be encouraging that. That being said, the institution of the sorority, they're supposed to be independent. They're supposed to be kind of like a separate enclave outside the university that should be allowed to practice its own traditions and customs. Some of them have interesting mottos, interesting histories. They really care about their foundings. Like, it's okay if they want to be special, but ideally it doesn't veer into hyper materialistic vain territory where girls are going into debt. Families are honestly going into debt to get them into this exclusive club. That is weird to me. Also, on the negative end of sororities, you have hazing. You have girls constantly engaging in peer comparison, trying to reach this unattainable standard of beauty, whatever that sorority standard might be. I know it varies. I know there's a ranking system depending on what region of the country you're in. Some sororities are higher on the totem pole than others. It's a bit exhausting. There's also drug issues. There's plenty of debauchery and degeneracy going on. I remember one sorority at this Florida state school that I was considering at one point was notorious for cocaine busts. So that's not great. And then you have the social media factor that I alluded to. It's exacerbating all of this. It's making girls feel like they have to strive and strive and strive. And I don't think they're becoming better people for it. And sorority houses are frat houses. Let's be real, they're not exactly traditional. They are dens of casual sex, of hookup culture. And yeah, I know you're gonna say, well, that's just college. That's just the experience. And that might be true. But I've talked about this for a few weeks on the show now. I'm just trying to show that this revival of sorority culture that we're seeing, it's not a conservative victory. What it is a normal victory. Normie is step one to restoring America. First, it's undo wokeness, undo DEI, undo cancel culture, undo all these insane identity politics mandates. And once you get there, you can actually start implementing, hopefully, more morals and values. And that's, in terms of colleges, long way to go there. And if nothing else, all of these videos show that we are celebrating women's spaces again, and women are proud to be a part of them, a rebuke of the gender ideology of the last 4 years. And I think there is yet an even deeper reason why Gen Z kids are flocking to Greek life and to these state schools. As a member of Gen Z, I can tell you we're struggling still with mental illness, with isolation, with financial anxiety. COVID wrecked us between school shutdowns and learning loss. An 18-year-old would have been a preteen during lockdowns, and they're just now coming out of that very dark cloud. And think about that for a second. During our most awkward, formative, frankly, like turbulent years, coming of age years, we were stuck inside on Zoom, denied sociability, denied proper classroom instruction, denied stability that we need during those years of development. This is from Forbes. Gen Z are becoming adults during an era of societal collapse. Endless choice has transformed into psychological burden. Young people are overstimulated but under-socialized. That makes a lot of sense, right? We are inundated with content on a daily basis. We are addicted to content, some of it more benign than others, whether it's get ready with me videos or in the worst end, you have pornography, but we're under-socialized. We are not going out into the world. We are not dating. We are not meeting people face to face. We are more connected than ever before, and yet extremely atomized and alone. Forbes goes on, take online dating. The average user swipes 50 to 100 candidates a day, but feels less satisfied and more depressed. Exactly. Choice overload explains why Gen Z are ditching smartphones for dumb phones. Honestly, that makes a lot of sense. We are dealing with information overload. It feels like we're crushed mentally by what we see every day on our smartphones. The fact that we have a computer basically on our person, a very advanced computer on our person all day long, sitting in our pants pocket, or that we're glued to it morning, noon, and night, you almost just want to throw the whole thing in the water and just get a Nokia. Things were simpler then. And by the way, this also explains why nostalgia is such an important currency for Gen Z in entertainment and other media. A lot of our content is also appealing to what is old school, because I think we are longing for a time when we weren't even born, when things didn't seem that complicated, when we could enjoy, simple pleasures and joys without constantly thinking about an algorithm and how we might be able to like engagement bait people on the internet for this as part of some competition with our peers. To give these parents that are shelling out thousands for their kids to get into Greek life, to give them the benefit of the doubt, maybe it's because they want their children to have those real interpersonal experiences where they were more or less unplugged from technology. I don't think sororities are unplugged by any means. I actually think they are very much in the social media world, but nonetheless, maybe these parents are thinking, oh, if my kid can do the sorority that I did in college and it was such an amazing experience, maybe this will help them. Forbes goes on, loneliness is a growing epidemic in most developed countries. Young people aged 16 to 24 feel more lonely than any other age group, as I said, including people aged 65 and over. Indeed, 73% of Gen Z report feeling alone, sometimes or always. 73% of my generation feels alone. Loneliness can be as damaging to health as smoking 15 cigarettes per day, and people who experience social isolation have a 32% higher risk of early death. It's a strange paradox. Gen Z are hyperconnected in the virtual world, but socially disconnected, as I said. The internet, mobile phones, and video games have opened a multiverse of new connections and opportunities, yet digital interactions have failed to replace the need to connect on an emotional level in the physical world. Yeah, these two goals are basically working against each other. It's a multiverse of madness for Gen Z. But again, to be devil's advocate for these parents that are helicoptering and trying to get their kids into these schools, into these sororities, I would like to think it's coming from a good place. The intention is to socialize their chronically under-socialized children. And if you're from a Northeast state, a state that was quite draconian for the years of the pandemic between mask mandates and school shutdowns and other insane restrictions, you might be thinking, I gotta get my kid out of here or they're gonna go off the deep end. We need to get them to a college where normal people still exist. Because let's be real, during COVID, the South was business as usual. I was in Florida at the time, and the North and the South, it was like night and day. One was closed for business, one was very much open for business, and we see which one absorbed more residents when all was said and done. But are parents going too far in this quest to help their kids? Well, they're going to great lengths to get their kids into Greek life, as I said, and it's so competitive that applicants, known as potential new members or PNMs, are shelling out big bucks for consultants to strategize on everything from crafting a strong resume and securing recommendation letters to practicing conversation skills and even auditing a wardrobe. The parents used to be paying for tutors to help their kids with SAT testing or writing the college essay, and now they're paying for sorority consultants. Some reporting from The Cut. Gracie and her mom, Catherine, knew they'd need help, and they were willing to pay a fortune to get it. As is the case with pricey SAT tutors or elite driving instructors, out-of-state applicants like Gracie can now hire rush consultants to help them get into Southern sororities. These coaches capitalize on the rush frenzy and the wealthy mothers who fork over thousands to secure their daughter's social standing across state lines. Catherine had heard about a woman named Trisha Addix, the first official rush coach in the business. Some girls hire her during their junior year of high school before they receive a college acceptance, and 2 years ahead of Rush when Gracie's parents compared Addix fees to those of other Southern Rush coaches who have opened New York City branches. Wow, New York City branches. They decided that not only was Addix the best coach, but the most affordable, only $4,500 compared to $5,500. All right, so this is definitely a luxury that only the wealthiest Northeastern families can afford. First of all, I'm afraid that the kids who were under-socialized in public schools because of the draconian COVID response and the teachers' unions and all that, they're not gonna get to do Greek life like this. They're gonna have to find a club that doesn't have this high barrier to entry. And by the way, Trisha Addix has scaled her business so well that she is now working on publishing the official Rush Bible. I also think that this is clearly showing that the purpose of college has changed culturally. It's almost like a lot of Americans accept that a degree is no longer that valuable. A bachelor's degree is ubiquitous. It no longer makes you unique or special. There's also really useless disciplines now that are in colleges because they know that they can make a lot of money off of kids who don't really know any better. They're not really thinking, oh, well, this major give me some ROI when I get a job in the adult world. They're thinking, oh, this sounds nice. Sociology, gender studies, even when they have no industrial value at all. But again, college, what it can give you, and what I think these parents feel it can give their children, is a solid network of people that they can rely on professionally. And this is well documented that a big part of joining a certain sorority, XYZ sorority or XYZ fraternity, is that the alumni network is very powerful and can, in fact, help you get job placements when you ultimately graduate. And maybe that is worth the high entrance fee in and of itself. As the saying goes, your network is your net worth. It's true. So wokeness is over. DEI is being offboarded from companies and our culture. Some demographics are feeling it. For more on that, click here.